Right back, right after this.
Keeping it real.
Listen up, folks. You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But it's also true that they are offering a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative, an important government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. So now's the time. You could qualify for a tax settlement that is 75% lower than before these changes, saving you thousands. Nobody knows this program better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Their attorneys and agents will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement, and they have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Don't wait till it's too late. Call Optima Tax Relief for your free consultation today. Call Optima Tax Relief.
Call 800-395-7366. 800-395-7366. 800-395-7366.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Hey, man, where'd you get all that extra cash? yo, keep it down. $1,000 was in my account today. Wait a minute. 67cash.com helped you get $4K just like that? You know it! 67cash.com's lenders provide fast cash personal loans for up to $5,000 for people like me with any type of credit. Man, I'm always...
1010 WOLB Baltimore and WERQ-FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
It's done unto you as you believe. It's done unto you as you believe. I'm gonna get there, yes, somehow. Push my way through the crowd. I'm gonna grab you by the hand to a place we will stand. Stand proud, no fear, it's clear, I believe in you. I believe in me. Oh yeah, I believe that we can make this dream a reality.
Believe. Hey, glory. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Baltimore. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLD 1010 Baltimore, where information is power. But of course, if you do nothing with it, it's just a bunch of words. Welcome again to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. And please welcome my co-host and I tell you, a man that I have such high respect for, and I'm always thankful when he's in the studio with me because years of experience, years of wisdom, but not stuck in a mold. Please welcome Mr. Leo Burrows, Jr. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, everybody, and praise the Lord and pass the ammunition for justice, decency, and fair play.
Yes, sir. The guns are loaded this morning. We ready to pass the ammunition and to you so that you might use it not only to your advantage, but to our advantage as a people. God is good. It's overcast. It's a little humid today, but it's not raining yet. It's coming. And so we got to get prepared. And I just want you all to imagine what the winter is going to be like if this rain continues as it is. And the almanac, the Farmer's Almanac, is saying that we're going to get a lots of snow. So Leo was talking about the squirrels, and he sees them out there gathering nuts.
Yeah,
and that is an indication of the severity of what the winter might be.
Yeah,
and because when it's not going to be a cold, you don't see them out there scurrying and finding and hiding nuts.
I was at the metro station this morning, the Rogers Avenue metro station, and of course those stations are tree-lined. You know, where the buses and the metro, the subway intersect. And you got a lot of trees there and grassy knolls. And the squirrels are working out this morning.
Yeah,
I mean, they actively do what is in their best interest.
Yes.
I'm sorry that man sometimes, Homo sapiens, people, don't do what is instinctively in our best interest, tempts us and our sense of not to reason the right way, as we know.
But I trusted in the loud. And I do. What is feel things, but if we're just not going to pay attention to our bodies by eating better foods, drinking more water, and those sorts of things, and we, you know.
Yeah, God helps those who help themselves, and we've got to take the step. We got to take the action, as opposed to everything's going to be all right. It's not going to be all right if we don't have the courage of our convictions to do the right thing for the right reasons.
Well, we've got a hot show here, and Joshua, I see you there, but I'm going to get right to one of our main guests. We've got two main guests today. Joshua Harris, who's running for the 40th district. There are three people that are running that will be elected for that position, and we're going to talk to Joshua because Joshua is in a unique sort of position in that he doesn't represent Democrats or Republicans, and we firmly feel that in order for us to break this cabal of ineffectiveness in the city of Baltimore, a third party would help us to do that. So we're excited about having Joshua. But right now, we want to introduce to you a young man all the way from Chicago, Illinois. Those of you who are looking at us, Jason, hi, Jason, how you doing?
Peace and blessings, family. I know you forgot about me.
I know. See, he's in there doing everything. In the control rooms, and he's done something amazing. I understand today we are doing something that has never been done on Radio 1 today. Tell us about it before I get.
We are always streaming live on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube for you to be able to watch our. But today we're actually going to be incorporating. We're going to be bringing in a gentleman who's boots on the ground in Chicago, and we're going to bringing him in live. So if you're at home, you'll be able to see him live in living color from Chicago while he's traveling, and you'll be able to listen to him here on WOLB.
Yes. So go to my Facebook page, right, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Patrick Henderson on Facebook, or they can go to, is there a hashtag, what is it, Meet the People?
Meet the People, hashtag Meet the People, all one word, and you'll get to see everyone in their glory this morning.
Well, thank you, Jason. Now, Jason, oh my God, Jason Rodriguez, our co-host and producer. Do we have Mr. Brown there? Or you just lost him?
Hold on one second. We'll get him back up. Give a second here.
Okay, let me see. He's connecting now. We're really excited about having this young man. He works from a grassroots perspective. He doesn't have a said organization. How are you there, Mr. Jedediah Brown? How are you, sir? Can you hear me? We can't hear him. Okay. What three? Okay, there you are. I'm sorry. It was our first day. Are you there, Mr. Brown?
I'm here. So good morning. Glad to be on with you this morning.
Thank you. It's distorted. Let's see if we can get that clear. Bring the volume down a little bit. We're happy to have you on, man. I tell you what's going on. We, first of all, want to salute you and thank you for the work that you're doing, not only in Chicago, Illinois, but also I'm told that you've been going and working with the people in Flint and working with them with their issues with the water and other issues there. How old are you? Do you mind me asking? You look like a young man.
I'm 32 years young.
32 years young. Oh, you're a native Chicagoan?
Native Chicago. Yeah, I said young because they say you are only as young as you feel. I feel like I'm 18.
Yes, sir. Let's see. I feel the same way. I'm 69. I feels like I'm 18 too, and gets up and gets it going. I think we got your volume straight there. What inspired you to get to this point of just saying enough is enough?
So I mean, I've been an advocate before I knew what advocacy was. Mm-hmm. You know, you kind of sort of are born with a purpose, and I believe this is what God purposed me to do, to stand up for others, that to be a voice for the voiceless, to organize and bring communities and people together. I'm an includer by nature. But when you come into some of the more high-profile calls to advocacy, it is often because either you've experienced tragedy or you identify with the situation. Our communities have been underserved, have been unrepresented, and have been completely exploited for so long. As a recipient of that kind of activity, I just sort of push against it, and I help to make sure other people can do it too. So I'm led by the fact that I identify with where people are in these vast spaces.
Well, you're in Chicago, and from what we're reading and understanding, you've been one of the main components, you and your fellow co-workers, and making sure that the cop that shot that kid got his just due. Can you tell us, fill us in on the particulars or the specifics?
So for the first time in 50 years in the city of Chicago, a police officer has been convicted for basically, even though he wasn't found guilty for official misconduct, we still claiming that it is misconduct as a police officer for the shooting of a black child. And William Calloway worked with Brandon Smith and an independent journalist, another guy, I can't remember his name right now, and they worked to get the video released that showed that shooting of the Laquan McDonald by then officer, now inmate Jason Van Dyke. And so us as organizers, we had to be on the front lines of organizing our communities. We shut down the Magnificent Mile, and we basically had continuous demonstrations throughout the years in our city, causing us to be able to see the state's attorney removed, the police superintendent removed. I'm now excited that the mayor is not running for re-election.
Yes.
And so many people in our government legitimately were removed for covering this murder up. And now that this police officer is arrested and we're waiting on sentencing, we see a pride in the black Chicagoans and in black Americans that we have really never seen before in our day. And I'm just happy to have been a part of the organizing effort.
Well, so do you think that it is going to bring the murder rate down there? Do you think it's going to be that far-reaching that people see? Because I contend that Baltimore is just so much like Chicago. You guys have lead poisoning, and a lot of those kids there are not well, and people won't talk about that. This is not normal what people are doing, killing each other like this. A lot of these kids are angry. They're upset about life in general. Do you feel as though this will make them feel some sort of that there is hope? Do you think this will give them hope with this guy being convicted?
It already has, and that there's such a pride that our community is experiencing right now, that we're building these broken bonds, even amongst each other as young African Americans, and so it already has taken a tremendous effect and has raised the morale. And it's kind of sort of a step in the right direction. We got a long journey ahead of us. Yes, but the fact that we see the pride that's in the young men in our community, it gives us a unique opportunity. And that's exactly what we need. If more people of color would stand up for issues that are affecting our community, and our young people actually see them fighting for them, it will give the inroads, because the only way you're going to stop violence is with opportunity and relationship. Yes. This has improved our relationship. Now it's time for us to find some opportunities.
Wow, that is just so, man, that is encouraging. You can't see the smile on my face, but you know, just the smallest ray of hope in this country right now that we might. Yes, Leo.
Yeah, Brother Brown.
This is Mr. Leo Burrows, my co-host. Go ahead, Leo.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm Leo Burrows. I'm a former resident of Chicago. Of course, in the 1970s, I was there for 9, almost 10 years, living in South Shore at 72nd and Coles, founded a group called the 5 Block Club and work with the South Shore Commission. Let me just say that I congratulate.
No, we need him here.
I congratulate you for your stewardship and leadership.
Yes.
Let me ask you, when will the sentencing take place? So what is the time frame for sentencing of this murderous officer? And, of course, you're going to remain vigilant because the pushback from the Fraternal Order of Police is already in motion, and I know you know that and we know that. But when is the sentencing scheduled to take place?
We're waiting on the sentencing date. I haven't gotten it yet. But to be honest, what we're doing right now is, unfortunately, we have to monitor the response of the Chicago Police Department. Mm-hmm. The Fraternal Order of Police really sent a very inflammatory statement that really showed how untouchable they thought they were. Mm-hmm. And now what we're concerned about is that the commands will be given by police officers to retaliate against our community. So we are actively monitoring how our police officers are engaging our communities at this point, and we're actually fighting to get some revisions in the FOP contract. We're watching the consent decree. We're trying to create and present policies that will shift the police culture, and some of us, like myself, are running for office.
Yes.
You're running for mayor, aren't you?
We're not concerned about what the FOP is talking about right now. We are waiting on sentencing, but I'll say it like this. We started with this in God's hands. We're going to leave it in God's hands.
As you get off on your feet.
Patrick, he can't hear me. He's running for mayor.
Are you running for mayor?
Running for alderman.
Alderman. Yeah, but y'all getting rid of Rahm Emanuel. He retired, right?
Rahm is gone. So everybody that's supportive of us in Chicago, you can send contributions to our campaigns because we need a new city council. It doesn't matter who the mayor is going to be. If you got the right city council in front of them, and if the people of color in our community stand up for themselves, it's going to be a new day, not only in Chicago, but in the whole country.
Brother Brown, what happened in Baltimore after the murder of Freddie Gray several years ago was that the police have taken a knee, and there's still many of them taking a knee in the sense that they allow crimes to be committed in the black community and do nothing about it. And so anticipate that kind of strategy from FOP in Chicago. But again, I applaud what you're doing. Stay on the battlefield because it has only just begun in one form or fashion in terms of the pushback and the backlash you're going to receive. But if we keep people motivated and mobilized, we can handle anything that comes our way.
Well,
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Again, so for us, these conditions and pushback, we're not concerned about it. We believe good police officers will remain good police officers. And we've been dealing with conditions that are unjust for us as citizens by police officers for quite a while now. I'll just say this. They can do whatever they want to do, but I think that they saw the verdict. They best be careful because there'll be more of that coming down the pipeline if they don't.
Man, I tell you what. So this is the first time in the last 10 years that the woman police officer was charged with and convicted and is going to prison. This is just the second one, right? Did we lose him? Jason, I think we lost him. Jason? Okay, you see that? I can't hear you.
I know he's traveling, so there's a possibility that his signal may have dropped because he's traveling.
Well, we'll wait till he comes back. But I heard this morning on the news that there must be a form letter response from Fraternal Order of Police Departments. They're not letting us do our job, is what the response was from the Fraternal Order. That's the same thing that they're saying here in Baltimore.
That is correct.
So it is a formed response, obviously, from the whole organization.
Yeah, the institutional racism that is alive and well in FOP and National Rifle Association. All those groups are right-wing extreme elements
yes.
that focus on the white agenda and institutional racism and white nationalism, you name it, it's white supremacy.
Well, you remember, was it Shalala who they did a report back during the Obama presidency that talked about the influx and of the KKK coming into law, becoming policemen and judges and lawyers and prosecutors, that these people were now taking their robes off and putting on ties. And when she came out with it, the Republicans got angry and tried to squash it. And of course, Obama sometimes was a bit spineless,
tepid.
Yeah, tepid. Tepid is a good word when he should have been much more.
And Patrick, what's interesting about this particular case and a few other cases around the country where officers have been found guilty, the FOP is actually collecting money for the Legal Defense Fund to file the appeals on the behalf of these officers. So I find it just, an injustice all around, especially when you have an organization like the FOP that continues to go out and lobby for money against officers that have been found guilty of wrongdoing.
Yeah, and they end up millionaires, especially the officer. Let something happen to one of them. But Jason, I'm wondering, are we going to let this happen? Are we going to stand by and let this happen? I hope that Jedediah calls back, because I want to know where I can send him a few dollars. We want to support him. We want to support him becoming an alderman there in Chicago. And while we're waiting for him to come back, we're going to our other guest today, Mr. Joshua Harris. Many of you might remember that he ran for mayor, I believe it was a couple of years ago. And Joshua is a bright young man who has, I believe, a bright future. He's a person of integrity. He's a visionary, and he's also a man for the people.
That is right.
He is a member of the Green Party, and when people see a party that's not Republican or Democratic, they don't normally want to think about the possibilities. But I want to open our eyes and our ears to this morning to the possibilities of introducing a third party into the politics of Baltimore. What would happen if he was elected on a Green Party ticket? How that would begin to maybe chip away at the effectless Democrats and the racist Republicans, if we had a third party in there to come in that the people really got behind. Joshua, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, sir. How are you today? Joshua? Oh, wait, hold on. Yep. There we go. I'm sorry. I had stuck my finger in the wrong hole. Yes, sir. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing there?
Good morning, Josh. How you doing?
Always a pleasure to talk to Patrick Henderson and Leo Burrows, two elders with a wealth of knowledge. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for agreeing to come on. I know you're very busy, and I was telling that could you hear me when I was talking?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the Green Party, and then tell us a little bit about you, and let's go from there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Green Party, many people may not know, it's actually the world's largest political party, and it's a party that's historically been focused on workers' rights and environmental sustainability, about overall sustainability of human populations. And the only way that we can do that is if we make sure that people have the ability to provide effectively for their families, and that we're taking care of the environment that we've been gifted so that we have something to leave to the next generation. And so there, of course, the principles that most attracted me are, of course, the principles of social justice, and then community inclusion, making sure that we bring the community into the process. And I had a mentor that once told me that we don't elect people to office to give them power. We elect them to office to bring us power.
Yes.
And so this campaign and one of my core focuses is about bringing people into the process and bringing the community into the process to allow your voice to be heard. And we most recently seen the complete opposite of that with the confirmation of Judge Brett Kavanaugh, where the majority of the Senate voted against their constituents. We know that the majority of Americans were opposed to Brett Kavanaugh being nominated as Supreme Court Justice, but yet the Senate voted against their constituents and stuck to party and politics to do what they wanted because they have the power and they're not invested in bringing power back to the citizens that they represent. And to me, that's unacceptable. and I know that it's a bit of a whole lot of shenanigans happening on the national level. And I think the only way that we have to counter that and protect us is to get good people in the local and state office. And we have to begin to pay more attention than ever to who we are sending to City Hall, to who we're sending to Annapolis, because these are going to be the only protections that we have against this president and Donald Trump, who's bent on taking away our rights and revoking decades of progress that we've made. And so when you look at things, for instance, with Brett Kavanaugh being nominated to the Supreme Court, one of the only reasons that Donald Trump nominated him was to guarantee that Roe versus Wade is overturned. And
that's
that
one, yes.
Women's rights are taken away from them, that women don't have bodily autonomy to make decisions about what happens to their body. We look at the courts are going to decide or have decided affirmative action, Brown versus Board of Education, all. So the only protections that we have is to get good people into the state legislature here in Maryland who are going to be proactive in putting in legislation to protect Roe versus Wade, to protect affirmative action, to protect voting rights, because we have states' rights, and if we have good folks there making those laws, we can protect ourselves against the nonsense happening federally.
Yes, Leo, go ahead.
Josh, tell us again what office you're running for in city council, what city council district, and what is your platform, even though that might be a restatement of some of the things you've already said. But specifically, what district are you running in, and who are you running against?
Yes, absolutely. I am running for the Maryland House of Delegates in District 40, which is effectively from Pigtown to Park Heights, which also includes Morrell Park and ends at Mount Vernon on the eastern side of the district. And so the current representatives, which you get to choose three, the current options that you'll have on your ballot this November are Nick Mosby, Frank Conway Jr., Melissa Wells, and then myself. And you get to choose three, and so I'm hoping that folks choose me as one of those three.
And this is the state legislature, the Maryland House of Delegates, 40th District.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so I would like to go to Annapolis and become your independent voice, and to bring back resources to Baltimore City, as well as to put laws and protections in to protect us against all the nonsense happening federally. You know, I said it earlier that you don't elect people to office to give them power. You elect them to office to bring you power. And so this is about bringing power back to the neighborhoods and the communities that need it most, that have been ignored, silenced, don't have access to know how to reach or when to reach out to an elected official. Being accessible is key. And so that's what this campaign is all about.
Well, if you get elected, what will this be unprecedented? In other words, are there any other members of the Green Party who are currently serving in the state Senate or the House of Delegates? Of course, you're running for the House of Delegates in the 40th District.
Yes. In Maryland, this would be historic. This would be something that has never been done. We've never seen an independent or a third-party candidate be elected to the state legislature. So it's been something that's never been done before. And for me, it's really important because I've worked in Annapolis, and I've worked for other legislators, and I've worked for members of Congress, and I've sat in rooms where a good idea will come from the opposite party. And the leadership will say, well, that's a good idea and it will work, but we can't do it because they would get the credit for it, which I think is completely absurd.
It is absurd.
Because you're not elected to represent a party, you're elected to represent your constituents. And if there's a solution that someone else puts forward, you should be focused on implementing the solution that's going to be effective for your constituents, not about party allegiance. And that has to change. And I think the only way to change that is to get independent voices in office who are going to say, hey, we got to cut the crap and do what's in best interest of our constituents.
What I'm already hearing, Josh, is that we don't, from some quarters, we don't need a third party. We got Democrats and Republicans. Well, it so happens that the Democrats and Republicans, and this is my own opinion, have conspired against us in some instances, not the least of which is the
OLB Baltimore and WERQ-FM HD3 Baltimore.
I don't know what happened there. We're normally warned. Are we okay, Jay? Hello?
Yeah, we had a soft station ID. I didn't take it out.
Oh, okay. You're listening. It is that time, though. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WLB 1010 Baltimore. Don't touch that dial.
1010 WOLB Baltimore and WERQ-FM HD3 Baltimore.
We're back. Jason is an octopus in there. Yo, you cannot imagine. And plus, he's co-hosting, so you just can't imagine. Yeah. So we applaud you, Jay. We understand. Go ahead,
Joshua Harris. You still there?
Yes,
of course. Well, what I was saying is, already you've got the naysayers, and we say that no other party has a right to run as long as you're legal. You're a legally recognized party. Every right to run, and I know you to be a man of great integrity, and as a young man, a conscious young man, and you're somewhere between the ages of 30 and 31. Am I right?
I actually just had a birthday and just turned 32.
Okay, wow. Just turned 32. Well, I'm just saying, I like the pizzazz. I like your organization. I like your emphasis on economic issues that focus on our needs. And we need to do something that's unprecedented in staid old Maryland. You know, we need to upset the apple cart here, given the fact that too many Democrats, we know that the Republicans, in my opinion, are worth 5 cents. But we've got some Democrats who are worth 10 cents. And by that I mean, we start talking about the lesser of two evils. Well, we've got a third great hope in the candidacy of Joshua Harris, in my opinion. And I certainly am going to ask my friends individually. I'm not endorsing you from an organizational point of view. I'm endorsing you as a community activist who deserves to be elected by virtue of your stewardship, your knowledge, your intelligence. We need to shake up Maryland because Maryland is on a treadmill to nowhere. And certainly the Brian Frosh, and you don't have to speak to this, but Brian Frosh is a Democrat attorney general. The governor is a Republican governor, and they conspired, in my opinion, to not abide by the ruling of the District Court of Maryland, the Federal District Court of Maryland under Judge Catherine, which was to sustain and negotiate issues attendant to historically black colleges and universities. And so we need to strike back for a lot of reasons here and move this state in a positive direction, and I believe your candidacy represents that. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. But you know, what do you say to all of those go, well, here's an upstart? No, this is the second race that he's running for. Tell us a little bit about you. Are you a native Baltimorean? Did you go to school here? What is the influence? What is the reason for your candidacy? You said you stated pretty well, but give us a little more insight on you.
No, absolutely. I don't think it's any secret that the fact that I'm not originally from Baltimore. I'm actually from Chicago.
Right on.
I came on,
okay.
Which is a very...
Geography, that's all it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just slight... fell in love with the city. It reminded me so much of home, and I've just gotten involved and have been involved ever since I've been here, and I look forward to continuing to make change in Baltimore and being part of the solution. Whether I'm a resource, and I'm going to continue to do work for sure. I didn't stop after my run in 2016. I didn't disappear. I've definitely been present and visible, and I'm not going anywhere. Baltimore is home. And we all have a role to play in making sure that our city is better tomorrow than what it is today. And so for me, I'm going to continue to do that. And right now we have a real opportunity to really do...
At least they have a selection. Yes.
You have options, and people should be aware of what the full totality of their options are, as well as understand the system. And we really need to begin to do some things differently in Baltimore City. And my race in 2016 was an example of people looking to see something done. I got more than 25,000 votes in 2016. And so that wasn't just like, that was more than the majority of the people who ran in the Democratic primary. And so understanding that people are clearly looking for something different, and they believe that we have a real opportunity to create change and have someone who's focused on progressive policy solutions to bring back power to the people, not to take power from the people, but to bring it to the people.
All right,
Hey,
listen.
Patrick, I had a question really quick, and the lines, of course, are
all right, and they are blown up.
Yeah,
but I
yes.
want you to lock him in because I want him to answer questions from the people.
Yes, sir.
410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Go ahead.
My question, Mr. Harris, is what support have you gotten from other community leaders or even folks that may be part of the Democratic Party or even in the Republican Party? What endorsements have you gotten so far?
You know, I had so I've worked a few different races, including state legislative races here. And one of the things that we've learned is that endorsements don't mean anything unless they come with money or volunteers, unfortunately, because there's things that need to be paid for on campaigns, like T-shirts and campaign literature, yard signs, and so many other things. And usually you don't really get endorsements until after you win. Once you've won, that's me. I worked one race, and they couldn't get any endorsements when they were running. And once they won, the next time around, everyone wanted to endorse them. And so there's been several community people and community leaders who definitely endorsed and supported and have held meet and greets for me, introduced me to neighbors, and put up yard signs. But there hasn't been any organization specifically that's done that. And that's, I think, reflective of politics and people playing it safe and wanting to really evaluate what they may lose if they make the wrong endorsement. I'm not here to play politics. I'm here to bring effective policy solutions to the table.
Tell me this: have you been invited to community associations?
Oh yeah, I've spoken at several countless community associations. I've been to. I usually have one at least 3 days a week where I'm at a community association speaking. And then I'm out 7 days a week knocking on doors and talking to people. So many people out there, I may have already knocked on their door if you live in the 40th district. We've been working at the big district, which also includes Morale Park down in the very southern end, which is often a forgotten part of Baltimore City, a part that's kind of seen as a suburb of Pigtown. But we've been working our way up the district, and we'll continue to work. And most importantly, what we've been doing is what I call a listening tour, because I have ideas that I think would be great solutions. But I think that people who live in communities have the best ideas on how to transform them and what it's going to take to make them improve them.
All right, and go ahead, Josh. Come quick. I'm sorry. I want to. That's what I want to do. I want to hear what the people got to say to you. So let's. You ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sekou, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You called in earlier. Thank you for holding. I don't know if you wanted to respond to this, but good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I really had something else I wanted to talk about. You want me to call back?
Yeah, why don't you call back and stuff? We want to get. But what you think of this guy, Sekou? Sekou is an activist. This is an independent party. What do you say to this? Do you think this might begin to break the cabal of the stronghold that is on us and between the Republicans and the Democratic Party? What do you think about a third party?
Now, why you put me on the spot, man? You know I don't believe in electoral politics like that. I mean, I participate as a matter of principle. We should try to control the politics and the politicians in our community. That's the principle I live by, right? But I don't believe in electoral politics for real, because I know it was not designed for us. There's only one party in this country. That's the white party.
Well, all right then. Thank you, Brother Sekou. All right, we're going to go to Ernest and see if he has a question or a comment. Welcome, Ernest.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, the only independent person that won a major election is George Washington.
And Bernie Sanders.
Huh?
And Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders was not.
He's an independent.
No, I'm talking about Green Party. I'm talking about Green Party. Bernie Sanders.
George Washington was in the Green Party?
He wasn't in a major party.
There were no parties.
You can look it up.
I don't doubt there was no parties. It was just the nation was starting.
They had parties, but he wasn't in one. You can look it up. It's on the internet.
Okay, and
but with Ralph Nader, Ralph Nader ran as a Green Party, and a lot of things that Ralph Nader was saying was absolutely true.
A lot of it was bunk.
But guess what? He caused George W. Bush to be elected.
Yeah, he did.
And that caused that caused a lot of American soldiers to go to the Middle East and die, Afghanistan and die, and 9/11.
Okay, come quickly.
But what I'm saying to you that this country was devised that behind the bald eagle, a left side and a right side. They don't go for what you call them.
It's the same bird, though, right?
It's the same bird, left side and right side. That's what it's based on. And
Thank you.
Can I respond to that?
Yes. Go. Hold on. Yes. Go ahead, Josh.
Well, I think that one, it's a good thing that I'm not running for president, and then two, it's a good thing that there's no Republicans in this race, so we don't have to worry about that in this case. People can actually vote for what they think is the best solution. But then three, I think it's very important for us to really recognize that he's right. We have Democrats and Republicans on the national level. And I present to you the option that once upon a time, an elder named Harriet Tubman was told that the house of the field were her only option. And that many people said, well, I'm comfortable in the house. And so I'm going to stay here and I'm not going to run because if we run for freedom, we might die. And I'm just glad that many people didn't choose to do that, that they decided that it was worth giving it a try to see what actually freedom looked like.
Yes,
and I think we really have to decide whether or not we want to be revolutionary in the actions that we take or whether or not we want to just talk about it.
Well, and continue in the muck and the mire.
We have to begin to be innovative in how we do things and take those risks.
Yes.
To go out and do things differently. And even more, I'm not naive. On the national level, it is very difficult, pretty much impossible to do. But locally, we can do that and we can begin to build and we can begin to create alternatives and what we see in electoral politics.
Well, does not Bernie Sanders prove my point?
Well, he does. He is. He's a Congress or a senator.
It's an independent.
It's an independent.
Right. So it's not as ironclad. Well, it's pretty tough since it's only one. Leo, come quickly.
I just think it's just ridiculous to say what cannot happen if we believe that an individual who's running for office has the answers to our problems on who will work, will lay in place, set in motion an agenda to address our concerns, then I don't care what party he's in. In this case, I'm going to support Joshua Harris. He's in my district, Linden Park Apartments. But I'm saying I'm going to support him primarily because he's saying the right things for the right reasons. He's addressing our needs. Let's not get locked into a mindset, a brainwashed mindset that says what we cannot do as a nation. We can overcome any obstacles if we have the courage of our convictions.
Well, I find that to be a major problem here in Baltimore.
Brainwashed.
People are always telling people what they can't do. In my case in point was Ivan Bates. The election is over. You know, the only person that I see still on the streets, still out there working with the kids, still trying to get things organized in our communities is Ivan Bates. Ain't nobody else that ran, nowhere to be seen, including the people that were already in place. But people said, oh, he can't do this, he can't do that. It is so typical of Baltimore, and it is so discouraging especially to our young people, because we do the same thing. Oh, boy, you can't do that, you ain't gonna do that. Instead of saying, well, come on, let's see what's happening. How can I help you? And believing and latching on. So, don't get me started there. That's not my intent today. Eric, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment, sir?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Come quickly.
So I'm not Democrat or Republican. So I guess I would guess I'd say that I'm independent. As I was speaking on an earlier show, I was telling people what Susan Collins had done. They pulled her coattail and let her know that she's a
white woman
first. Right. She's a Republican first. And, her constituents was second. You know what I mean? But the one thing I can say that even with, Joshua Harris' party and even the Democratic Party, what they have to do is everybody got to stop playing chess. Stop playing checkers when it comes to the Republicans.
Yes, sir.
Because they playing chess.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And they doing exactly what their constituents want done. And I think that's what everybody else needs to do. Need to play hardball with them, how they play with everybody else. But I'm going to ask Josh a question. Can we get, for our votes, an agreement, documentation, that if we want certain issues to be raised,
on platform,
that you will sign off on that? Because we heard from the mayor, the current mayor, that she will vote for $15 an hour, and then she got in office and done she got brain amnesia.
Yeah.
So we want to know for insurance that you're going to say what you mean and mean what you say. Mean what you say, and we want that, and not on paper. And if you can't add that for us, then we might need to think about other avenues we need to turn. But black people, we don't have no room for compromise no more in this city, in this state, in this country.
Yes, sir.
So games, I'm sorry to sound so harsh, but the time for games is
not
over,
harsh.
man.
It's not harsh. It's fact.
This is a serious, very serious situation.
Yes, it is.
So if I talk, because I'm the leader of my family, so I can talk to the women in my family, also the men. So I would want to bring them back information on why should they vote for you. This is the agreement we got from him. I'll let you respond off air.
Thank you, sir. So my great question. Josh, would you sign agree? Is there a platform already that you have in place? Thank you so much, Eric. Is there a platform that you have in place? But how would you go about finding out the needs? You're saying that you're having listening. You're having more listening sessions. You've already said that. Go ahead.
Yes, no, so that's a great question. That's exactly what we need to do, right? So in this listening session, what I've been doing is a survey, and I've been collecting people's top concerns in different issues, different neighborhoods, different zip codes, because the reality is that they vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. And I don't only want to be able to say that these 5 people, this is their issues and what they want me to focus on, but I'll be able to say that I've talked to 6,000 people across the district, and these are the top 5 concerns. This is what people would like to see get done. We have actual data and numbers to back that up. So absolutely, I have no problem with putting in writing the issues that I'm going to focus on and making sure that they're reflective of the community, which is why I've done this listening session, because I want to know what people's concerns are. I want to make sure that that's my priority, not what I assume or think are the things that people care about.
And you will sign off, yes, sir. And you will sign off on those, and you will put those out, and you will go and before the election date and plaster the city with flyers in the 40th district so that they will see what you're committed to. How will you get the word out that this is your platform? Do you have plans for that?
Yes, well, I have. I can plaster the city, but I'm going to need some help from some of y'all to do that because it's a big district.
Yes, sir.
We got to reach a lot of people, but I will definitely put that up on my website to where it's public information. If someone writes a news article about it, it'll be documented there. But I want it to be documented so that people know and can see that these are the issues. And I want people to email me. I want people to contact me now. I'm not hard to reach. You can reach me on Facebook, on Twitter.
Joshua Harris.
Harris for Baltimore or Joshua Harris. Either one of those. My website is harrisforbaltimore.com. You can send me an email at info@harrisforbaltimore.com. Or you can call me directly at 443-261-5387 because I do want to hear from people. I want to hear from constituents because the reality is that I can't do it by myself because I'm not backed by major corporations or major parties. My best commercial is the people. And when I get there, I want to represent the people, and it's going to be the people that keep me there.
What is the number again? 443?
443-261 5387.
5387. All right, we're going to go to the next caller. Chris, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Good afternoon, Patrick. This is Christopher Irvin.
Hey, good afternoon, Christopher Irvin.
And salute to the General and Jason. But I want to call because I heard Joshua Harris on the air. Let me be clear. What I've heard previously is people talking about presidential and other national elections. What I've heard previously are people talking about the Republican Party. What I've heard previously are people talking about the Democrats and Republicans are two wings of the same bird, so they just like we never get what we need. Here you have presented to you live and direct a person not of either party, a person who comes from a different city, but a larger city that has all the same issues of this city.
Yes.
A black man who is intelligent, articulate, and is invested in the same issues that we care about. I would ask people to not only consider, but to put this man in one of those 3 seats.
Yes. Yes.
Joshua Harris is one of the most intelligent people that I have met in this process. And even as I ran for city council, I've gotten to know Josh. And I'm more than impressed with Josh. Not that I'm anybody to, my opinion matters.
No, it does.
I'm more than impressed with him.
Yes.
Not just his position on things as if he's navigating a minefield, but his conviction on the things that he's invested in. This is who and what we need in politics for Baltimore, because politics is a tool. When we say the politics doesn't work for us, we don't understand it just like a hammer on the ground. A hammer is, yes, for hammering nails, but it's also for self-defense. That's the only thing that's around. You have to know how to use the tool that's available to you.
Amen.
Absolutely, the wrench.
When we don't take the time to actually figure out how this tool can work for us. Of course, no, it wasn't made for us. Guess what? It wasn't made for the people who put it in place for this country either, but that's another story.
Right.
The thing is, they picked it up and they made it work for them, and we need to do the same thing. We need to learn what tools we have at our disposal and use them to our advantage. Joshua Harris is one of those people, one of those tools that can implement the strategies and tactics that we need as a community, as a larger community in Baltimore City, and specifically as black people in Baltimore City.
Listen, you know what? You said that, who are you, and people don't have to take your word for it, but I want y'all to know who this is. This is Christopher Irving. He's the founder of a project, the Lazarus Project. Tell them a little bit about your organization and what you're doing for those young men or men that come home from prison and don't have anything, don't know what to do with their lives. What does the Lazarus Project do?
Well, the Lazarus Right is a program where, as you stated, when people come home from prison. But let me just correct one thing: it's for men and women.
Okay.
We've been training people. We hear a lot about the issues of crime in Baltimore City, and they're correct, and we have an issue. But what we don't hear is a concrete or clear re-entry program for people who come home from prison. But then we wonder why there's still a cycle, a perpetual cycle of crime and violence in the city. And so we've decided to train people not just for a job, but for a career.
Yes.
They get their commercial driver's license for free with us. But because our program is free, we've decided to fill out the curriculum where we go into civics, we go into ethics, we go into what the political structure is.
Wholeness, yes.
With no faking it. We talk about exactly what it is, who it was developed for, how it was developed, but then we also talk about how we can get involved and engage it, because it does govern our existence in this society. Yes. So do we stand back and continue to get punched in the mouth, or do we start swinging back?
Yes, sir. So for all y'all that didn't know who he was, he said who is he? But I'm telling you, these are the people we need to be listening to at this time. Not somebody just calling in and sitting in their bed with their coffee and pontificating. But we need those people that are actually out in the field, that are working to do something to change the lives of Baltimoreans.
And I thank you for that, Patrick, but I just want to be clear. I wanted to call not to talk about me.
I know, but I didn't want you to discredit yourself. I wanted to know who you was. So,
and I appreciate that coming from Christopher.
I'm of Josh Harris, because like I said, I've gotten to know him over some time, and watch. I'm still like a little kid. Even when people don't know I'm watching. And I consider myself not too grown, not too old to still learn, and I like the way he moves. I like to watch how he does things and hope that I can still learn things from him.
That's what we need to do from each other. Thank you so much, Christopher.
Amen.
Thank you, man. Go ahead, Josh.
That's an endorsement, or that I really appreciate, because as you said, Chris is one of those people who are doing work on the ground.
Yes, sir.
And that's who I want to represent and work for and work with.
Yes.
People who are actively engaged in transforming and changing their communities, and people who don't necessarily have the same resources that the big corporations that get the same things, or organizations get over and over again.
Oh man, we got so much power. We just don't realize with that little vote. It's not a little vote. It is a major tool to alter the course of our existence. And when we understand that and don't care what y'all say about Obama, he would not have been elected president either time had not 90% of black people voted for him. That's the kind of power we have. 53% of whites voted against him. It was us and young white people and young people that put Obama in office, and we don't realize the power we have. Yeah, he wasn't exactly all that we had hoped for, but at least we made a point that we see that we do have the power to alter the course of the political course.
And women, too.
Yeah,
we keep forgetting the fact that women represent about 55% of the voting population.
Yes.
whereas men only represent 45%.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
according to one of the last electoral polls.
Yes, but at the same time, if they're in the majority, and 53% of white people, women, voted for Trump,
Yeah.
then we must realize that they, without us doing what we did, they wouldn't have, Obama would not have won.
But I said this morning on LY's show. I think you're going to see a changing of the tides. You know, whenever there was, they called it women's suffrage.
Yes.
Whenever you had suffrage, you had a banding of women that came together collectively on one accord.
Took them years to get their program.
But I really feel that this is the push.
Yes.
That women are need to really move forward with the Kavanaugh vote and some of the disrespect towards women that they're seeing from the Trump
we're
office.
going to see, but these white women tend to protect their interests. That's one thing I noticed. They let their husbands go off and they be with other women long as they got a house and they get the checks and they get to live like Queen Anne. They're fine. They'll put up with being bashed upside the head, some of them, because of it. Sekou, you're back. What's up? Sekou.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is it all right to go to another topic now?
No, man. No, it's not. Smitty, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment?
Yeah, Patrick, you have a nice show.
Thank you.
Hopefully. The young man that you have in front of you, he's doing all the right things that he needs to do, is be in contact with the community. We need some new people. We need people who are going to be there and understand the plight in which we're going through from day to day. We need a change. I think this young man, if given the opportunity, he'll be able to get in there and make a big difference in the community in which he wants to be a part of. Sometimes we have to look at people and see their potentials. I think he has a fine potential. I don't know him. I haven't seen him, but I've been listening to your show. I can hear the apathy in his voice that he wants to do something because he's tired of seeing nothing being done. I suggest that the people in the sound of his voice and all of those that we can reach put their support behind this young man.
Sound like you having church. You having church back there? What's that music? Sound like me. Where's that music coming from?
That is you. We getting ready to go on break.
Oh, getting ready to go on break. Okay. Oh, hold on, Smitty.
Hold on, Smitty.
We're gonna try here. I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light.
Talk in the day. Soul at night on the new 1010 WOLB.
I had great results. I lost 70 pounds. I weighed 265 and went down to 195. My doctor told me, if it works for you, then do it. A lot of people say to me, how did you lose the weight? I said, I take Andro 400 every day. I'm going to take it forever.
That was Walt talking about Andro 400. Now listen to what Bob has to say.
When you listen to your radio commercials, you say that's not possible, but since I've experienced it, your commercials aren't strong enough. I am 76, and I've had a belly for way too long. My whole body is shrinking. My energy level has gone up, and the only thing difference is Andro 400. It's great stuff. I tried other products, and nothing happened.
Guys, if you'd like to lose stubborn belly fat, gain energy, and feel years younger, try Andro 400, the safe, natural, and affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435. andro400.com.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't mess around. They could take everything from you. But the game changes when you have a team of tax experts on your side, like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, who have earned an A+ rating with the BBB. They can protect your paycheck, assets, and everything you've worked so hard for by fighting to get you the best possible tax settlement. Call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-799-0977. 800-799-0977.
Optima Tax Relief.
1010 WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
Come on, try. Jesus is the light of the world.
All right, Jason. That was the Bill Gaither Home Gathering, Homecoming series that I did with every gospel artist on the face of the earth at the time. Y'all can go to YouTube and see those videos.
We're going to start playing more of your songs around here. I don't care what you say.
Well, all right. I wanted to tell people that Android weight loss thing, man, do you all know that if you're drinking soda pop, that is corn, fructose, and that just sits on your belly. If y'all stop drinking soda, I'm telling you, some of them bellies would go away. But I ain't no doctor, but I'm telling you, you need to quit drinking
some of that
stuff.
Diabetes would go away, too.
Yeah, I know. Stop drinking them sodas. Smitty, you still there?
Sir.
All right, thank you. I wanted to know, I know you don't live in the district, but you are a supporter of candidates. Would you be willing to send them a few dollars? I'm going to send them a few dollars. We know talk is cheap, and I ain't saying your talk is cheap because I know you a man of your word. But would you be willing? Do you believe in him? And has he Josh impressed you enough that you would consider sending him a few dollars for his campaign?
I would consider sending him a few dollars. I'm going to get with Leo when he comes off of there.
Okay.
We have the next meeting, and I'll give Leo something.
Okay.
And we'll send him something.
Very good.
He needs something. So we'll do the best we can. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about.
And Josh, I need some more flyers. So we'll talk about it tomorrow morning if possible, or you can drop them off this evening.
Joshua, where would people send money to? How can we donate to you?
Absolutely. Or you can go online to harris4baltimore.com. And there's just a donate link right there. You can go on your phone. It's mobile accessible. You can use your computer. Harris4Baltimore.com. And there's a donate link, and it's pretty easy. You just put the amount in that you like to donate, put in your name and information, and it'll come directly to us. And you can use a credit card if you like to, or if you have a PayPal account, you can just transfer it. So you don't have to have an account to do it. If you would like to give checks, you can make checks payable to friends of Joshua Harris, and you can mail them to Friends of Joshua Harris, P.O. Box 41111, Baltimore, Maryland, 21201.
Wow, this is great, you all. Baltimore, I'm telling y'all, you want to shake the crap up? You want to shake the boo-boo up? You want to bring in what they call it with that flush, Santa flush, to flush the toilet? Let's put Joshua Harris into the mix, and let's see what we can get happening.
And I think, too, just if people aren't able to donate, you are the best commercial that I can have. Baltimore is what people often call Smaltimore. So you sharing with a friend, a family member, an aunt, a grandmother, letting them know that I'm running and that they should check me out or consider me as if I haven't knocked on your door yet. Everybody will probably know someone in the 40th district, and you guys are the best commercial I can have to spread the word and let people know that they have an option and someone who's actively out here looking to engage the community, not just sitting back expecting the community to come to me, but someone who wants to put power in their hands.
Yes,
sir. And Patrick, this is not a critique against Brother Harris or anything here, but we have to stop believing that the Green Party is not a viable party. It is a very strong party, and even though we may not necessarily think it's a mainstream party,
only because it's not as familiar to us.
That's it. That's really it. But there's some great Green Party leaders across the country that are holding seats of power within this country. And we have to continue to support.
He mentioned about 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Now call in. Y'all know y'all got some questions. Let's find out about this man. You got something you want to know? This is the time to do it. We're so thankful for the opportunity to come to you every Monday and every Sunday to talk about what's going on. Y'all know me. Y'all know my heart. My heart is for the children. But until the adults get it right, the children are going to it's going to take them longer to get where they're trying to go. We come to not make their paths easy, but we come to make it transitional so that they don't have to face the same obstacles and bull crap that we've had to put up with our whole lives by creating the path for them. 410-481-1010. We've got Ahmed. Ahmed, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
I have a comment.
Come forward.
I'd like to say good afternoon to the community.
Good afternoon.
35 years ago, I was registering voters and campaigning for Billy Murphy for mayor. At that time, we tried to speak to everybody that we came in contact with. Yesterday, was it yesterday or Saturday? Getting old. I think it was Saturday. I came past 3 or 4 of Mr. Harris's volunteers. And not one of them said a word to me. Maybe I didn't have on Adidas. Maybe I was too old. But I said to myself, damn. But I'm not going to hold that against you, Mr. Harris. I still, when I find out a little more about you, I still will give you an equal chance to vote for you because we need some help in this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I felt ostracized, but
no,
I'm not going to go crazy. It
No.
was one of them things, and maybe they might need a little more training because what I have is very important. I have a vote.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for calling in, Joshua. He's like he said, maybe there's some training needed
And I
to be
definitely
done.
I definitely appreciate that feedback. I'm going to make sure my volunteers are out. We should be talking to every single person and every single potential voter, for sure. So my apologies for that. It was not to ignore you or ostracize you. We would definitely do a better job of making sure we communicate with everyone that we come into contact with.
Do you need volunteers?
Oh, absolutely. We need volunteers. We're out 7 days a week canvassing, and so we do it in 2 to 3 hour shifts usually. So if you can volunteer for 3 hours in a week, that helps tremendously. We also have phone banking happening, so if you're unable to be mobile and walk out at the doors, you can come out and make phone calls for us. And then, of course, on Election Day, we have 58 polling locations to cover for 12 hours. So we're anticipating we'll need about 116 volunteers at minimum on just Election Day. So we definitely need people to volunteer. And if you're interested in volunteering, again, you can call directly at 443-261-5387. It's 443-261-5387. Or you can go to the website, harrisforbaltimore.com, and you can click volunteer and sign up there. And like I said, we have phone banking options, we have canvassing options, and there's all sorts of ways that you can bring your time and your talent to assist helping that we get change in Baltimore.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'm excited. And I want to call you and maybe help do some phone banking for you. Before we go to you, Leo, Lisa, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Hold on, Lisa. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Come on, y'all. Let's talk to this man. Let's see what your concerns are. Let's hear what you would like for him to do. See what his thoughts are about what you're thinking needs to be done. We don't communicate with each other. We need to communicate more with each other. We need to talk about it. We might not agree, and we can't teach you anything, but at least we can help each other to think and maybe reconsider a position that, maybe needs a little tweaking. That's all that it's about. Nothing personal. Lisa, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment?
Well, Josh, I like your presentation, first of all. And I like how you answered the caller in reference to your workers. I like that. Another thing, I like you on the ground running in the communities. But my question is, will you still be running in the communities once you get in that position? Because a lot of times...
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Community...
It's really low.
You can't...
The communities do not get to intertwine with the candidate after they get in office.
Did you hear? She said, once you're elected, will you do like the norm seems to be? Then the people who voted for you won't get to interact with you. You'll become on a pedestal and do like all the rest of them have been doing. That was her question. And she said that she appreciated the way that you responded to the gentleman who called about your workers and then some of your other responses. She appreciates those, but her fear is like most of ours, that is causing apathy within our community. Will you change once you're elected?
Oh, absolutely not. So my goal is to, again, bring the community into this process. And so this is phone number, the website, the email address, that all will remain the same. My Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But what I want to do is I want to replicate leaders in our community that know who to go to about different issues, how to solve different solutions, so that they don't have to come to me any longer, right? And so I want to be accessible, and this is about how do we duplicate that. So I don't want to only hear from people when they have an issue. I want to hear from you in between. I want you to be out and say, okay, I want to help you reach people so that we can teach people these are the numbers that you call when you have an issue about landlord-tenant issues. This is who you need to call when you have questions about your property taxes. I want to be educated and have people to where you are empowered to provide information to people as well. And so that's what my ultimate goal is. This is really a bigger organizing picture for how do we educate and empower voters and our constituents to make sure that they know who to go to for information, how to get information out, and how to get things done.
Would you be fighting? Would you be fighting in the legislature, like say for the Libor thing? I don't know how much influence you would have there. Would you be speaking out against the Policeman's Bill of Rights? Will you be talking to the governor about the HBCU lawsuit being dropped? Will you be doing those things that really, really affect the lives of Baltimoreans in ways that have not only present power, but future power?
Absolutely, and not only will I be doing them, but I've already been doing them. I've worked in Annapolis for 4 years, and in fact, the first piece of legislation that I worked on was a piece of legislation that made it legal for officers and mandatory for police officers to wear body cameras in the state of Maryland. Legislation to have more stringent consequences on landlords or slumlords who are not taking care of their properties, because we know that's a major issue where we have people living in deplorable conditions in our city, and these landlords don't have any consequences or repercussions. So not only will I continue to fight for those things, and specifically with education, that is one of my number one priorities, and making sure that all of our schools are equitably funded from K through 12, inclusive of our HBCUs who have been given the short end of the stick for far too long, and they need to be given their due so that they can compete with the other institutions in our state.
Yes. Just Leo, did you have another question?
Well, only to say that I want folks to be mindful of not only supporting Josh, but I would hope that they will consider in the future, and this party is not on the ballot, they're not where you are at this point, but give them consideration. The Ochima People's Progress Party with Nnamdi Scott Lumumba is a party that is progressively focused on black workers, rights of black workers, and they're still out in the vineyards, they're still working hard. And so when I talk about getting new voices, new people with new ideas in the political process, that can only spell a positive result for African people if we have different points of view and we're able to sustain those points of view by virtue of a documentation and organization and being held accountable and being willing to be held accountable. I think that's very important. I can see you, Josh, every 3 or 4 months, not speaking for you, but having sessions with your constituents, assuming you're going to be elected, and having those town hall meetings where folks can come and speak to you directly, given whatever schedule there is. And I think that is something that's lacking in the political process today for many representatives. They've been in office so long that some of them have been there 15, 20, 25 years. They don't campaign at all. And they don't give feedback to their constituents, nor do they consult the people who elected them as to what changes those people, those residents, those voters deem necessary in terms of making our future a better future.
Well, today is a holiday.
The views and opinions of
today is formerly known as Columbus Day.
Yes, formerly known in too many places as Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Josh was saying something.
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I said we call it Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, that's what is going across the country now. Is they're calling it Indigenous. So, do you know if City Hall is open today, or is it a holiday?
It is a holiday. It is a holiday for government.
Okay.
But you should still be able to reach your elected officials. And in fact, one of the things that I found is that I've given out my cell phone number, email address, and such to so many people. And very few people actually use it, which I found surprising. I get very few messages, and so I would like for us to begin to be more engaged in in using those as a resource and using me as a resource and contacting me and reaching out. I want to be accessible to people now. and even beyond the election. I want to be able to support. I want to be able to help provide resources and point people in the right direction. And if I don't have the answer, I'm pretty sure I know someone who does.
Tell me this: what are you doing? What are you doing on the college campuses and high schools and with the seniors that are turning 18 this year? Are you? Is there a contingency or a part of your operation or apparatus who's going on the college campuses and talking to the? I think that's where the revolution for a third party is going to have to take root. To be honest with you, the young people realizing that they want to, the millennials, people wanting to change. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So what are you doing in that phase and on that front?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's something that will be amazing. I have, of course, spoken at high schools to young people about civic engagement and the importance of being involved. But as far as an actual organizing apparatus, there's a limited capacity. My entire campaign team is all volunteers. I have people who have full-time jobs and are then coming after their jobs, sometimes in their lunch break, to volunteer an additional 30, 40 hours a week on my campaign. And so we need more people to be able to really expand how many we're able to reach and how much organizing we're actually able to do. And so that's the importance of the need for more people to volunteer. And I'll say this, what I've seen before in the past is that you'll have candidates who are really passionate about the issues and committed to community who run for office, and the community doesn't support them. They don't support them with their time, and they don't support them with their money. And so then what you see the next time that those folks run typically is that they go to Comcast or BG&E, who writes a big check to them so that they can pay people to do that work. And then that's who they end up working for when they get elected. They get elected. And so we have to really do a better job of making sure that we're supporting candidates who are actually committed to our values and committed to representing our community.
I agree. But that's yes, sir. I agree with that. But I need to ask you. There are student governances, and we have the Baltimore City Community College. I believe if just a little effort was given to contacting that student governance department, the student governance at Coppin State, I really believe that Dunbar, the city council, the student council, I don't know if you want to put somebody on this because you got a lot of 18-year-olds. I believe 6 million young people are going to be 18 by November. So you got a lot of people there that are not being tapped. So people say, well, I didn't know nothing about him. I'm just wondering if there's something that you could do at this late date, even though this is the beginning of the month. You almost have almost 30 days to call and just to talk to these student governances and see if you can come in and say hello to them and hear their thoughts about the future and their thoughts about the present, just to engage them.
No, absolutely. You're right. And that's something that we'll definitely begin to work on. Because you're right, there's going to be a lot of young people. And young people are getting more and more involved in politics,
right?
Particularly when we see what happened with the school shooting recently.
Yes.
A lot of young people
in Florida, especially,
their voices need to be heard and should be a part of this process. And that just because they're young doesn't mean that they should just be ignored. I, being one of those young people myself,
you know how it feels, huh?
Yeah, we're definitely getting more involved in the process and want to be heard and included in making sure that we can be a part of the change.
Dale?
Josh, I have an observation that I want to share with you and Patrick and everyone else. Every effort is being made today by the Democratic political machine, the Republicans and whomever else, the established order, to suppress and tamp down any student activism, whether it be student activism or mobilization around the issue of justice for HBCUs, or whether it be issues attendant to police brutality, guns, drugs. The legislature is promoting recreational marijuana. I guess they're going to have it spiced with fentanyl. What I'm trying to say, sarcastically and not so sarcastically, is that we have a lot of hypocrites. And there are a lot of folks who don't want to promote student involvement. They would rather maintain the status quo.
Sure.
And that's why you're running, thank God.
Yes,
but there are those who don't want mobilization or movement among our young people in an aggressive way.
Yes.
And that's why we're standing still on a treadmill in this state in terms of getting things done, in terms of apprenticeship, job training, and placement. We're dead in the water. in my estimation, we're far behind where we need to be in ensuring that vocational education is prized and becomes preeminent. If you can feed yourself, if you can get a job with minimal education and be trained, you can pay your way to college or university if you want to go.
Yes.
But everybody's not going to college. But there's a de-emphasis on job training and education to the extent to the extent that I'd like to see it.
Hold on for a minute, Joshua. I've got another caller, and she got Glord. How are you today?
Yes, Glord. Yes. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Did I get your name right, Glord?
Yeah, you did. It's like Lloyd with a G in front.
I love the way he explained it the other day on the LY program. He said that his father said, "Good Lord," and that's how he ended up with the name.
But I had to tell you the history behind the name.
Yes, sir.
It was in my family. All that first name start with a G and with a D. But my father, he changed the first name, but he changed that last name.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so the history behind it. But to let you know, I'm president of a community organization up here in the 5th District, 41st District. Joshua Brown, is he running for anything? What position he's running for?
He's running for the 40th district, and his name is Joshua Harris. Yes, sir.
I mean Harris.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
yes,
Joshua Harris.
Yeah.
Okay, so but we still can have an input though.
Yes.
And okay. And my concern is, and always has been, when if he gets in there, all these public officials, like in city halls, city council, they need to step down. They need to move into the city first. And if they don't, they need to step down. Or whoever take their position needs to take a cut. And I'm quite sure they're getting paid a lot of money. So, and then behind the police, if they all can live in the city, you'll see a big difference.
Yes.
A big difference. And the other thing I've always been concerned about was because I went to Board of Education meetings, and I was raised up in the city turn station, and I know how we actually did a community as a whole. We had family, we had school teachers living next door to us, police living next door to us. We did wrong, and that was a good thing.
Yes, sir.
But the sad part about it, when they had our school torn down, which I'm still heard about that, Southbourne High School, Calvin Hill Choir, you see, and Dwight Pettit, we all went to that same school.
Yes, sir. Killed the city.
But the thing is, when I went to North Avenue a couple of years ago, and I was asking these politicians, don't tear these schools down. The excuse they use all the time is talking about, well, we don't have more students. I said, well, if that's the case, you need to just put like a shop in there, and the other half of it, so these kids can learn a trade, learn how to cook.
It's such a waste.
And believe it or not, I had to be successful business, and that's what helped me along when I was growing up, you know. But until somebody do that again, because these kids don't have no skills.
I agree.
And you know.
That's right.
You know
no skills.
You know what?
No skills.
What else, Gloria? And I agree with you. Instead of tearing these buildings down, I think they just tore down Rodman over there on the corner of
Liberty Heights and Hillsdale?
Yes, sir. They just tore that school down. That was a building. All they needed to do was go in there and gut it and repurpose it. And instead, they're tearing it down. So then there was one less school because there are 2 elementary schools. There are Liberties right up the street from it. So they're saying they didn't need it.
Wait a minute. Well, what I'm hearing, and I live around the corner, and I'll talk to the council, the 5th District Council Person's office again. I live right around the corner, and I've been questioned about that school. And my question was, did that school have air conditioning in it? And some of the school teachers were saying, yeah. So if that's the case, they could have took that money and put it in these schools that don't have that.
Exactly.
And believe it or not, my understanding, even though they're tearing it down now, they're supposed to reconstruct it. So they're going to have a smaller parking lot on the other side, because kids have gotten hit and killed right there on Hillsdale, right across from the market, and I know this area very well. So they sent the kids to Grove Park School. So that's where they're at now. Next year, they're going to be coming back to Calvin Rockwell.
It's going to be built in a year?
Huh?
It's going to be built in a year?
Well, they say about a year. It might be a little longer.
Man, you know what it is.
Are black folks going to be involved in the construction of that school? I've been told I shouldn't ask that question, but I don't see us doing anything in terms of building and construction. I think building for the renaissance of this city, of which we are still a majority, is very important. And I don't see us involved in that. I see us being discriminated against.
Exactly, and I agree there too. And believe it or not, the project they did almost finished down by McDonald, that big senior center.
Yeah,
I checked about that a while back, and I looked over there. I didn't see no blacks over there working. And I called the city to find out how many of senior housing that they have throughout the city like that. And come to find out, the one that's over there now, it's foreign investors. Yeah, foreign investors is building that. And I was questioning whether or not the funds would be coming back into the city, and it's not. So somebody need to check into that and make sure that money from all these 109 senior centers in Baltimore City, I know the city getting taxes because of their taxes, but the thing is, we need to have that money coming back into the city, just like the lottery.
I agree with you.
That's the thing I've been complaining about for a long time.
I agree with you, sir. We're going to talk about that, Gloria. Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for your support.
Yeah, and Patrick, the challenge of having workplace mandates, though, unfortunately, is that we have federal laws that have right to work statutes, on the book. So it's hard legislatively to make these mandates to force people to work where they live. That's the main issue.
Well, but
that's politics.
It is politics, but I'm gonna tell you, I've been noticing. Now there's some road work going on. There are a few more black people. They're starting
because
to see,
we're advocating for them. That's why.
So I can see, Josh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Again, tell the people how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Again, my website is harris4baltimore.com, and you can visit there if you're interested in finding out more about my vision and platform for the city and for the district overall. You can reach me by emailing info@harris4baltimore.com. Find me on Facebook, Harris for Baltimore, Twitter and Instagram, Harris for Baltimore. Or you can call me if you're interested in speaking with me at 443-261-5387. That's 443-261-5387.
All right, we wish you the best. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day, man, and we wish you the best. We got to make a change, and we believe that you will be a breath of fresh air. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. You too. Bye. All right, Leo, come quickly. Hurry.
The Roots of Scouting organization is meeting Monday night, the 15th at 7 p.m., 3301 Windsor Avenue at Hilton Street, the Church of St. Cecilia Hall. We want to see you out at that meeting, and call me at 443-651-2578, 443-651-2578. Join us for our Law Day and our camping event this year as well.
And the Crab Fest is coming up.
Crab Fest is on the November 2nd.
Oh, so we got plenty of time for that. Listen, today I started back my after-school program with our children. I want you all to pray for us. I want you to pray for me. I want you to pray for the school and pray for our kids. We've got another year. It's going to be another great year, but we need you to pray for us and to support us. Thank you, Roots of Scouting, for giving us a washer dryer for our children that come to school in pajamas. God bless you all. Thank you for the time. Thank you for listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLB 1010 Baltimore. Have a great week.
Love your family.
Soul at Night on the new 1010 WOLB.
To stay healthy, you've got to know your numbers. What's your blood pressure? How about your cholesterol? Blood sugar and weight are very important too. Come out to Mondawmin Mall Friday, October 19th from 10 until 3 for free health screenings at Fall Back to Good Health. Visit umm.edu/community to learn more. Sponsored by University of Maryland Medical System, Total Health Care, University of Maryland Medical System Health Plans, and Magic 95.9 FM.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. And there's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
1010 WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Discoveries in Health. I'm your host, Chris McKay, and I'm really glad you're with me today because today we're going to be talking about an issue that affects each and every one of us, and that's stress. And believe it or not,